Hello everyone, it's Baker+Brown time, and we have a special treat for you today.
We're coming at you from the Gallatin Farmers Market. Stay with us.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining Kim and I again for Baker+Brown. I'm Paige Brown. I am the mayor of the city of Gallatin, and Kim Baker is the CEO of the Gallatin Chamber of Commerce. So we're delighted to be here in a special location today. Kim, tell us where we are.
It's one of my favorite locations. So in addition to operating the chamber and serving the business community, the chamber is actually the manager for the Gallatin Farmers Market, located right here at 160 West Franklin Street in Gallatin, right next to the police department and the fire department. So if you hear a little noise, that is why. Today we're joined by a very special guest who joins us on Saturdays when the market is open from 8 to 1, and he is a farm vendor and also a beekeeper. We have Shawn Faulkner with us with Natureworks.
Yes, and I feel like I could actually probably tell you everything that he's getting ready to tell us because I've asked so many questions of him over the years. But you keep a great booth here. You've been a faithful vendor at the farmers market, and you always have such a unique offering to the people that come here and shop. So are you going to tell us about what you brought?
Absolutely. We have a sampling of a lot of the things that you'll find when you come to the farmers market. Everything from pet grass for your pets.
And I love this. I bought it a long time ago, but I actually just started growing it for my cats. And y'all told me it was called pet grass because it's as much fun to pet as it is for the pets to eat.
Absolutely.
It is so fun to play with.
And then we have our famous dog cookies, treats for your animals. We've got a variety of vendor soaps, very wonderful vegan soaps. They just smell wonderful.
Yeah, these are made by a local company. A company's called Scent of the Sun, and their last name's Brown, right?
Yes, and it's a mother's son.
And their soap is addictive. I for a long time, every time I saw them somewhere, I'd buy 5 more bars. And I actually have a stash now, but it's not just, it doesn't just smell beautiful. It doesn't just look beautiful. It smells amazing. And it retains the scent until you use it up. So this is one of my favorite products.
And your skin too. My daughter has eczema, and we use it on her skin, and we've actually seen a difference in her skin since we started using K-Soap.
Fantastic.
So what else do we, are these from Scent of the Sun too?
These are
hand sanitizers.
These are our hand sanitizers. Right now with the COVID, everybody has to sanitize their hands, and we made a product that doesn't dry your hands out.
Oh, wow.
It's got vitamin E in it. It has essential oils for both fragrance and for immune boosting, and it's handy. It's easy to carry.
It smells amazing.
I was just going to say, I have to smell it because I'm...
The lid's on good.
So it's on good? Okay, well, I won't smell it, but I'll take Kim's word for it. It smells amazing, and I'll buy some next time. So,
then we have some artisan products. We have candied pecans and peanut butter granola. These are by Double Oven Confections. Also local here. Brandy is here in Gallatin. She offers other confections with cupcakes, carrot cake, and chocolate cakes that are just absolutely wonderful.
And beautiful, beautiful baked goods that are delicious.
And she takes orders too. So if you ever stop at the market and you don't see something you want, or there's something else you like, she can do that. She can do custom orders. And most of her products are gluten-free.
Right.
Now, is this your banana bread or is this her banana bread?
That is our banana bread, actually.
We were just talking about getting ready for the next batch, so we appreciate y'all bringing that to the farmers market. And then do you all grow the sprouts?
Yes, this is a 4-seed mix of broccoli, radish, alfalfa, and clover. A lot of nutrients in that. It's very nutrient-dense product there.
So how do you like to use sprouts?
I like to use sprouts in a wrap. I'll take a tortilla wrap with some beans and rice and some hummus, and then sprouts on it. It's a fantastic, good power lunch. It's real quick to make as well.
It sounds delicious. Now I'm hungry. And what is this?
Well, these are every spring at the market. We have several vendors who have produce plants and flowers. We have 12 Corners, we have Wade Farms, we have Lucky J, They come up here with, and us, with produce plants. We have tomato plants, and you can see these tomato plants are very healthy. Got blooms on them already. They're ready to go in the ground. Bell pepper plants, or a good selection of herbs. We've got flowering hanging basket plants. This is a nice spider plant. So we've got a variety of things that our vendors bring up here to offer.
Yeah, 12 Corners always brings a lot of ornamentals, and then some of the farmers whose produce will be here later in the season have some really healthy plants. And I always theorize that they do well because they've been grown in our dirt, not imported from somewhere else. So I really like buying their plants. And this is actually some parsley, looks like some variegated mint and some thyme.
This is pineapple mint.
Pineapple mint, okay.
Yeah, pineapple mint.
What makes it pineapple mint?
It'll smell like it.
It actually has a faint.
Does it?
It has a faint fruity smell to it.
Which I found mint's fairly interchangeable when you're using it in teas or whatever, except cat mint. Not really interchangeable.
No, the cats. That's strictly for the cats.
That is. And then eggs are for sale here?
We have two vendors, ourselves and Wade Farms, who offer eggs. They are farm fresh eggs with local chicken food, and it's all natural. The chickens have free range. They are out doing what chickens do. But the eggs are fresh. Because they're local, and we don't have big chicken houses. We sell out of eggs, so the eggs are definitely fresh. There's a constant rotation of the produce.
Now, I've also seen when I've been up here that you have vendors, at least on occasion, that are selling coffee and meat and seafood.
Yes.
So, I don't know if either of you can speak to that.
Yeah. We have Blessed Day Coffee Roasters who's been joining us on Saturdays, and so they sell their coffee and their beans bagged, ready to take home. They can even grind them for you on site, and occasionally they bring their machines and they do pour-overs, which have you had one?
Absolutely.
It's a good wake-me-up on a Saturday.
Absolutely.
And then the lobster, you're mentioning Cousin's Maine Lobster. They joined us a few weeks ago here at the market, and they plan to be back in about 4 to 6 weeks. And occasionally we'll have other vendors that'll hop in. We've had snowball trucks, other food trucks join us. And then, what else did you have? Meat. Our meat vendors have not returned yet for the season, but we do anticipate they'll be joining us later this year. And then the popcorn, you're right, the kettle corn.
The kettle corn, absolutely. Oh, she's here, and her popcorn is amazing. Last week I was here and I saw my sister-in-law, and she wound up buying a bunch from her, and she's like, it is so good. I said, yes, it is. Now, you mentioned that you're a beekeeper, so that means that we need to talk about this and this. So, this honey, this is a different vendor than
This is different from my bee hives.
Okay.
This is Portland honey. They're about 5-6 miles away from me. This is Happy Bee Apiary, and Happy Bee has been a staple here at the market. Wanda and Richard with their honey.
And bees, and they do beeswax.
They do beeswax items, and also jams and jellies. Obviously, honey is their primary, and it is raw honey. It's not pasteurized. It's not been heated. It's not been ultra filtered. It's just run through a sieve to take out the wax bits and put right in the bottle. So
excellent
it's
for
got
allergies.
all the good stuff in it. All the good stuff. And then I've got a little mini beehive right here. And bees are exceptionally important, and if you didn't know, today is World Bee Day.
Oh, how awesome! How awesome!
So appropriate to have Honeybee Tennessee, one of our Tennessee educational institutions represented. And then on this frame, this is a frame that bees would draw honeycomb out on to have to store their nectar and pollen and raise their baby bees. This time of year in the spring is when bee colonies naturally divide, and that's called swarming. The queen flies out, and she takes some of the bees with her, and they group in a cluster called a swarm. And that swarm they are homeless. They're looking for a new place to live, and they're very calm. So if you see, this is what you would see with the bee swarm. They would be clustered on a branch, on a fence post.
Sometimes it looks like they're hanging from a tree or
they
something.
are, and that's called bearding. They all hang on to each other. And they're keeping each other warm and safe in that ball. But they're not a threat. They're not aggressive. They don't have anything to guard. So at this point, if you see a swarm, don't hit it. Don't spray it with anything. Don't spray it with the water hose to get them to move. They would be aggravated if you spray them with the water hose. But they're docile. If you see a swarm, call a beekeeper. Most beekeepers will come out and remove that swarm for you for free.
Because they want the bees.
They want the bees.
Yeah.
It's free bees. There's a queen and a mass of bees, a whole family of bees. They'll put them in a hive and they'll raise the bees up, get their honey.
So they could call you?
They could call me. Natureworks Tennessee is on Facebook. U.S. Pest, believe it or not, a pest control company. They are
about saving the bees.
They are about saving the bees. They are one of the sponsors of the Honey Festival. And they have lists of beekeepers. If you call with the bee swarm, they will call beekeepers. They're not going to spray the bees. They will get somebody to come and get them for you.
Now I've got a question. You said that the bees kind of separate and form new hives. What happens to the ones left behind? Is there like a new queen that's crowned, or what?
It's interesting that you say that because when the hive gets full, the queen bee sends out hormones that says that it's full and we want to start preparing to divide. So the worker bees, all women by the way, all the ones that do the work, the worker bees will build queen cells. The queen will lay an egg in them and they'll feed those new larvae royal jelly, which is packed with nutrients. The larva grows very fast and they cap that cell. And once they cap the queen cells, and there can be many, at least one, and I've seen it at one time up to 10. So they're well prepared, redundancy. And so they cap that cell, and when they cap the cell, then the queen gives a signal that it's time to leave. She flies out of the hive, and about half of the colony flies out with her. And they go to a spot and send out scout bees that go around looking for a good place to live.
That's
and then
fascinating.
That swarm will be there anywhere from 6 to 48 hours, waiting for them to come back and say, hey, we found a place to live.
Now, if there are more of the succeeding queens, if there's more than one, do they like eat the others, or?
Well, they don't eat them.
They just don't let them
but
reign?
There can only be one queen in the hive.
I knew that.
When the first one emerges,
it.
she is the one. She'll be the leader.
She is coronated.
Correct.
Interesting. So tell me how a bee box functions, because I've not seen one of this size.
Well, this is a small one. This is called a nucleus hive. It holds 5 frames this size.
Oh, okay.
And
then
like I said, they draw comb out onto this.
And then you just pull it out for the honey. So
you can remove
it. It's like that in here. Yeah.
So the frames
there they are.
The frames sit like this. I've got several with educational slides. And the bees draw out comb on that. And that's what the beekeeper removes
to get their honey.
Get the honey. The queen lays her eggs there, and the queen can lay 1,000 to 1,500 eggs a day. So she's constantly building that hive up.
That's crazy. Well, you are a wealth of information and a fascinating vendor here, and I really appreciate your commitment to the market. We actually had a discussion this week at the City Council about renewing the lease with the Chamber, and somebody asked if the Chamber, how much they paid us. I said, look, if we asked the Chamber to pay us, we would not have someone running the market. So the Chamber has done a beautiful job, but you vendors are really the ones who have made it a market that so many people want to go to. And I've been pretty faithful coming here and shopping here, but I'm seeing that crowd continue to grow. It is kind of, if you're not in downtown Gallatin, you might not know where this is, but we're behind the fire station right on Franklin Street, and every Saturday morning the market happens.
8 to 1, and there's lots of parking, so you don't have to worry about fighting for a parking spot. And then if it's a nice day and you want to go stroll the square afterwards, we're in close walking distance that you can do that. I will add that there are special events that happen here from time to time. We're still working on the final calendar for 2020, as everything's kind of changed a lot over the past several weeks. But we do have a night market that's happening this Friday, and it's happening here. It's rented out by a Daisy a Day, and she's hosting a vintage and artisan market here. And there's movies at the market. There is one scheduled for June, and there's other events. So do check out the community calendar at gallatintn.org to see what's happening here. So,
anything you want to tell about the market that we haven't mentioned that you think is important?
I think we have covered it very well, and I appreciate you inviting me to come up here and tell a little bit about what we do here at the Farmers Market.
We appreciate what you do, because it really does add a lot of essence to our community, and we're so grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you,
Kim.
Thank you.
Well, I have to say that farmers market information was most interesting, even though I thought I knew so much about it. We've actually moved positions a wee bit so you can see the rest of the market behind us. You'll also see why we're undercover today, because it's raining.
A little wet.
It's a little wet. So that was great. I'm glad we were able to share some information about the farmers market. Now we're going to share some more information, and well, go ahead and talk about your poster.
Oh, the poster. So as you know, we've been encouraging businesses and citizens to abide by the Tennessee Pledge and follow those guidelines. And these actually just arrived in the mail today from the state. And so I think I've got about 50 or 75 of them, but they're really nice. And you can come by and pick one up. And so it just says Tennessee Pledge. This business has taken the Tennessee Pledge. So if you'd like one of these to hang in your establishment, you can come see us at the Chamber. We're located at 118 West Main Street, right next to City Hall. So.
And then the other thing that I want to talk about, and I never thought that we would be discussing mask fashion, but that's kind of become the thing of late. As you know, the city is giving away masks. We have a couple of different kinds that we're giving away. They're not terribly comfortable, but they do the job, and they're free. But the Chamber actually designed and ordered masks that they are selling. And I wanted Kim to show them, because I think they're so precious and very meaningful, particularly to me. I'll start with this one because it's my favorite. It says, "Be nice, it's the Gallatin way."
We've heard a lot of folks that are in retail or restaurants say we need some of those because we need to remind our customers to be nice right now. So don't be one of those customers that needs that reminder.
That's right.
We have the Gallatin Strong, and it has the Gallatin logo in the O. We have the zip code 37066, which is our favorite zip code, and it has the tri-star in the middle. And then, of course, the Tennessee flag, which, am I upside down? I am, there. And these are actually, they're sold out at the moment, but we should have some more in stock in the next 10 days. So these went really fast.
Well, and I like this one because it could be quite versatile. These are actually colors and designs taken from the Gallatin brand. And so I love that. You said the manufacturer actually displayed that one on their website. So they liked it too. So these masks are available. They're for sale. They're $8 plus tax, available at the Chamber. Do y'all have them for sale at the market too on Saturdays?
We have been bringing some with us. I'll make mention, and we'll make sure we have some with us this Saturday.
Yeah.
We do have limited quantities. So if you like these, stop by the Chamber, give us a call to pay for some. You can actually purchase them on our website as well. But the best way would be to come by, come to our door, and we'll take your order at the door and we'll bring it back out to you.
Yeah. Well, talk a little bit about what's happening in the city. It's been a pretty big week for the city of Gallatin. I'm really glad that the city of Gallatin has passed their budget. Not the budget I dreamed of this year, obviously, because of the COVID crisis, but we've now passed a very conservative budget that really takes out a lot of things that I was looking forward to, but making necessary cuts just like every household and every business is having to do in our community. So I felt like it was the right direction to go, and that budget is passed. And we are through our second reading on our tax rate, which it goes through 3 readings while the budget only goes through 2. And so we have one more reading before that is official. Right now it is set at 0.8001, which is the same rate as last year. So that would be no increase to our residents. I feel like it's going to stay there, but I'm not promising because things certainly can change. So that happened this week for the city. Another thing happened to the Gallatin City Council that you may have heard a wee bit about. Project Woolhawk has been in the works with Gallatin for several years now. And this week we approved a development agreement and a pilot agreement with Woolhawk. And pilots are technically, because most people don't know this, I certainly didn't know it before I was mayor, but pilots are incentives that are given to businesses who invest in your community. And so the City of Gallatin has reached an agreement for a pilot for this project, Woolhawk. We know that this is a very large project, it is a technology company, and it is a huge capital investment in our community. The jobs that it's going to provide are also very good jobs, so there are not a ton of them, but we think it will be a great asset to our community, and so we have reached an agreement on the pilot. We will still be bringing a lot of money in. Whoops, that scared me. That's the fire department. They're backing up. They will still bring a lot of money into our community. They are purchasing the land from private landowners, so the city's not giving them any. They're paying for all their own infrastructure, so there's no gift from the city to build infrastructure for them. So I feel like they have been a tremendously positive partner. I had the opportunity to be on a phone call with them a couple of weeks ago, and they said, we are going to be a great partner for your community. We love to support STEM education and nonprofits, and so I'm looking forward to the day that we can make that official announcement and then eventually having them here as a part of our community. So those were big things for me. What about in the chamber world?
Well, we made the decision this week, along with our board, to kind of ease back into some of our in-person gatherings starting June 1. So the Chamber over the past several weeks has not canceled any of our events. We've postponed one major event, which was our golf tournament. We moved that to the fall, like many have done. And then all of our other events or programs moved to an online virtual format. We will be easing back into some of those. Some of those take place, they're lunch groups where we meet at a restaurant or we meet in a coffee shop. And so we are developing those guidelines, but we're really excited to bring some of our people back together. And I think the interesting part about it, and what a lot of folks are trying to figure out right now, is how do we do both? How do we still, like for our restaurants, we've talked about it, how do we still do carry out at this capacity, but also open our dining room? And so we're also looking at that too. How do we have a hybrid model for some of these events?
Yeah, and I think hybrid solutions are going to be I think they're going to be a business opportunity that was born of this crisis, but I really do think it will be the way moving forward for so many businesses and government and individuals and families, these things that people haven't done before. I am getting a lot of calls and emails and questions still about ball leagues, because I know everybody's waiting to hear. Emailed the governor's chief of staff yesterday and said, where are we? She said, coming soon. So we don't have the guidance on ball teams and ball leagues and tournaments and those kinds of things yet. We have gotten some pool guidance, but here in the city of Gallatin, we are not comfortable opening our outdoor pool until some of the social distancing requirements are lifted, because our large pool would be very difficult to if you enforce social distancing and still let kids enjoy the experience. I do not want to open a pool for a bad experience for our patrons, because that's not what we're doing. Our car show, the guys that put on the car show at the Civic Center, they are actually planning to have a car show. They are committed to social distancing, placing the cars far apart. So that is actually starting back this weekend. And then live music, nightclubs, bars, large venues. Still waiting on some more information on that. I've been told it's coming soon, so we're looking forward to that.
I think we're going to see a lot of new opportunities and a lot of new ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what about the nice list this week, Kim?
Ooh, let's see. What have you got?
Well, I will go with our Gallatin City Council members and our City of Gallatin department heads. Everybody stepped up, understood our situation with the budget, and participated and helped us find a budget that will work for us. And not a single department head got what they wanted for their department. And I know not a single city council member got what they wanted for their community. I didn't either, but we all worked together, and we're probably one of the first cities in the state of Tennessee to get a budget passed this year. So that's my nice list, because in government and politics, it's not always the nicest. That reminds me, though, you were talking about being nice when you're in businesses. I happened to be next to a very unhappy lady in a restaurant earlier this week, and I think she was kind of venting at me, which is fine. I'm used to that. But she wasn't directing it to me. She was directing it to the cashier. And I just felt so bad for that cashier when she walked off, because she didn't deserve that.
Right.
You know, she or you would have made her day better by just saying, I hope you have a nice day, sweetheart, or whatever. But
Walking away.
But not just, you know, kind of yelling at her for a little bit. So yeah, I'm endeavoring to do that. We all lose patience right now. I get it. I've been there. But yeah, if we can just exude a bit more patience and grace and restraint and think about what other people may need, especially those people working in those difficult positions, those frontline workers, which aren't just healthcare workers anymore. It's those people that are in the grocery stores and in the restaurants and waiting tables, and for whom I have tremendous respect. So
I think I'll add on, since you went that direction with a nice list, I'm going to talk about my board. And I'll say that too. I serve on a lot of boards, and then I work with a lot of nonprofits who have great boards. And during these times, we've really seen some of those board members step up and do things that are totally out of the norm for them. And for my board, we've been having these virtual meetings, and some of them involve lunch and different options. And so for our luncheon this month and last month, we delivered lunches to the attendees, and some of my board members stepped in to be delivery drivers and drove all over Gallatin to make sure our members and those attending the events got a lunch. So kudos to my great board that's helped us make some tough decisions during this time. And we really, nonprofits couldn't operate the way they do without volunteer boards.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I guess I'll finish our nice list by saying the person that should be on our nice list every single week, which is the person behind the camera,
yes.
Mr. Brandon, 1175 Films. We so appreciate you, Mr. Winter. You do a great job for us and help us bring this show to you each week. So you're always on our nice list.
Always.
Ready for a book?
I'm ready for it.
I can do it quickly. This is The Past and Its Presence. It is actually a brand new book, so I know that it is available. And this is a compilation that's put together by one of our local historians. Gallatin is so blessed to have several people who really care about history and make the efforts to record it. And so this is one of those. His name is Jerry Lumpkins. He's a retired school teacher, devoting a lot of time to history now, but he is compiling decades of news articles related to Gallatin and Sumner County. Just a few weeks ago, he sent me one that was a clipping from when they had an epidemic spreading in their community. And I think it was the swine flu. And it was really interesting because they were talking about how they were trying to quarantine themselves from others, and they were kind of making judgments about certain people in the community. It was very interesting. But yes, this is just, if you look through this, he shows different things in this book. It may be newspaper articles. It may be some photos here and there. There's actually some information associated with some of these that kind of gives you the background. For example, thank you, I can't speak today. Miss Elizabeth Caroline Shelby was the third daughter of General James Winchester, giving context to the clipping that was above it. And Winchester was an officer in the Continental Army in the American Revolutionary War and a brigadier general during the War of 1812. And so it gives some background associated with some of these clippings. But I think it's a very interesting book. I think they sell for $20. And I just realized there's a picture of Coach Lumpkins right there. So that's my book for the week.
I like it. It's a good one. He's always full of lots of knowledge about the area.
And has quite the collection about
does.
our city and our county. So,
well, I think that about does it for today. We will be back next week with another special guest and another special location.
That's right. Thank you for watching Baker Brown, and thank you all for loving our community. We love you.
Have a good week.